Okay, lights, camera, action. Alright, we're going to put this 5003 together. Fits RJ 58 and 59. The 5010 is basically kind of the same thing. One of the differences is this brake plate, or the brake drum part goes on here for the brake thing. On a 5003 it's down here. On a 5010 it would be up in here at an angle. Alright, that's one way to tell the difference between them. We have the bottom part, or what would be the right side of the transmission, sitting here. The input shaft would go here. Your cluster gear shaft would go here. Your brake shaft gear will go here. And the differential will go in here. This is a hole, I believe, that for checking your oil level. So when this is the bottom of the transmission, so when you fill it up with oil, it's going to come out this hole. That's about as much oil as you get in there. I think that's what that's going on. Alright, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Fill holes on the other side. I'm going to cheat a little bit because of time restraints with the camera and roll pins. I've got my shift forks in here, right here, and it's roll pins to take them out. This is your reverse gear. There's a roll pin on this side to take this out, and I'm not going to mess with that. This has got the detent ball and spring and stuff in it, and when you do that, it goes through this hole to take and put everything in there. Quite honestly, it's not as easy as the 5025, so I'm not going to mess with it. Alright, and it's a little interesting how you got to sit this thing down in here and get it on the gears, because it's tight in there. Okay, with that in mind, the first thing that happens is the input shaft gear. Now I know this looks like it's chewed, but if you take your gear that goes on that, that's the way it goes. So it's very nice. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's not worn. Alright, so we're going to take the input shaft and put it in this hole. Now the other thing I'm going to do here, got to tap that in. There we go. The other thing I'm going to do here, now there's ball bearings in here too. We don't want to mess them up. Needle bearings, I'm sorry. I'm not going to mess with the gasket here because I'm going to take it back apart. Some of the stuff, and you'll see that you got to do here, is going to make it real tough to mess with the gasket. So I'm just going to put this thing together. This is your brake shaft, gear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like a 940 something, I don't know, but that's what happens. It goes in here like that. Then you take your differential, which we put together in the last video, and obviously that's going to go in like this and slide into this gear right here and sit down on the trans. Alright, it's going to be a little sloppy, and that's good because it all tightens up when you put the top back on. Now, here's the fun. This is the top of the transmission, this is the bottom. This would be the back of the transmission, this is the front. You can see the curve. And I want my gear shift thing to be on the top. So what you do is you gotta work these little nubbies down on here. To get this case down where it's supposed to be, and you got to lift this up a touch, and then it falls right into place. That's the hardest. It's tight. This is tight in here, and there is no doubt about it. I'm going to kind of line up the holes. Then you take your fork gears This is the one that goes on the input shaft. Now what I'm going to do is, I think, yeah, I'm in neutral right now. I'm going to lift both of these up. I hope. And you can't do that with a shifter in there, but I'm going to lift it up. It's going to give me a little bit more room in the long run. And at this point, you want to take the one that sits down on the input gear. This is going to be your second and third gear, actually, and slide that on the fork. And push that back in over the hole. Then this is your reversed and first gear, and you want these notches on the fork to face each other, and that's going to kind of go right in there like that. And I'm going to push them over to the side, because now comes the tough part, possibly. This is the cluster gear and the shaft that works that. This gear can come off. It's got a keyway in it. This is your what do they call it? It's a low reduction pinion. We're going to slide this on here. Notice there's another keyway up here. We're going to try to get that in there to sit in that hole. And it looks like it's too easy. And at this point you want to take and put a couple of bolts in the bottom here. If you've got this thing in like it is, and it is, you might want to just start a couple bolts. Actually, I don't know if I want to do that right now, but I'll give it a shot just to grab it so it don't move. You can see why I'm not using a gasket at this point. There we got one. At this point you would probably put all 9 of these in, and there you go. Okay, so now it's not really going to shift around on me. This fell in nice, it turns everything. Now you're going to take your spleen shaft. This has got a C-clip on here that holds this gear from coming in and out. That's going to slide down through, and you got to get this other gear out of here. Come in, sweetheart. There we go. And that should slide in to your input gear. Now, at this point, I'm not in neutral. I want to put this in neutral. So I want to lower both of them. One. Can't tell. Looks like that thing dropped down for me. Okay, I'm in neutral now. This spins and it's not doing anything, not turning nothing else. And I can feel the 2 shift forks even with my finger there. So we are in neutral. The only other thing to do is turn this a little bit. so I can get this key in here. I got a Woodruff key. Come on, sweetheart. I'm going to tap that. I like to make that. There we go. And then you have your large reduction gear. That's got the keyway on it, and that slides onto here with this other pinion. Okay. That's it. Basically, the inside is together. Alright, now there's two things. The way this is made. This is the bottom. So we need to put this in here, like this. And then you take your top. And slide it down over the axle. And again, I don't have the seals on here, so I'm not worried. And we want to make sure that pops in there like that. There you have it. Put your bolts in. Well, might be the wrong bolt there. Got a little cleaning up to do yet. There's C-clips that go on this. Having trouble getting that one started. There we go. A little grease on my paint job. And there you have it. Turn the input shaft. Not hard, not easy to do with this like this. But what you want to do is put the shifter in. Once you get this all tightened up, put the shifter in, put it in different gears, turn that input shaft, make sure everything turns. Alright? And that's all there is to that. This wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. This is the first take. Pretty nice, pretty simple. Pretty rugged actually. And you got an RJ transmission ready to go. 5003. Nice and red. Bolt this sucker down, fill it with oil, check for leaks, make sure everything turns good. Very cool. What a nice day when it works like this. Holy cow. Alright, gentlemen and ladies, if you're going to do this. But, yeah, we got her. Appreciate it, and thank you very much. Nice day.